Good morning, everybody. I wish you all a very happy day. Okay, let's start the lesson. Today is our fifth lesson. Here, we hope to discuss three main topics. They are measuring attitudes and interest. The other one is measuring intelligence. Similarly, we discuss about measuring emotional adjustment. I hope you can remember or you can recollect what we have learned in the previous lesson. Already we have learned about the intellectual part of the how to measure students' achievement levels and performance in a test paper, in a given test paper or a term test paper or whatever the public examination. You can remember this picture. We have already learned about three domains of learning. They are cognitive domain, psychomotor domain, affective domain. So, as I said you, cognitive means head learning. We call it as, it is easy for us to remember head learning. Head knowledge and facts we remain in our mind. Brain or something like that. The other part is affective domain, that is the heart learning. That is about the attitudes, feelings we have. Similarly, the other domain is psychomotor domain. There it's focus on body learning. In other words, we can say hand learning. There we focus on hand. That means skills and actions. That's why they are called three domains of learning according to Bloom's taxonomy. So, the cognitive domain focus on the intellectual part, and the affective domain focus on the attitude and feeling parts side of a human. Similarly, psychomotor domain focus on developing skills of human beings. So, now let's move. You can remember earlier we gave a term test or a unit test to a student and we collect the raw marks. That is the raw marks. We correct and give them marks, that is called the raw marks. Then we organize them or analyze them according to our purpose. Today, there we cognitive domain part, knowledge, students' knowledge we measure. So, then how do you know students feel about learning mathematics? How do students feel about learning mathematics? How can we find it? What are their interests in choosing A-level stream? How can we find it? Think. Their feelings and interest. How can you find it? These questions actually require us to measure their attitudes and interest. Feel about learning mathematics, that is their attitude. What are their interest in doing A level? Selecting A level streams. That is about, we talk about their main focus or interest. We call these, that mean attitudes and interest, as psychological constructs. They related to psychology of human or children. Psychological construct. Then what is called psychological constructs? That means they are not directly observable, like height and weight. Can be observe one's feeling. You may say when he's crying, he's sad, or when he's arguing, he's angry, like that. Not how much can be found. How much he is angry. How much he is feeling. Can you say? Comparatively, you may say, but exact value can you say? Like height and weight. They are called psychological construct. We can't directly observe. Then what to do? First of all, let's see. Can you explain what is attitude? Take a moment and think about it. And what is interest? You think about it before reading the definition given. You think. Attitude means a learned tendency to respond positively or negatively. Positively or negatively towards a person, object, situation, or an idea. If we think about our real life, we have positive attitudes and feelings and negative feelings regarding persons, objects, situations, someone's ideas, like that. Then, always we say, his attitude is not good. We say, that means he has negative attitude. Nowadays, you can see, if you think about the curriculum new reforms in the media, we can hear a lot of people ideas. When we listen to their ideas, speech, or discussions, we can, come to a conclusion that they have a negative attitude regarding or towards the new curriculum reforms or Positive. Then what's interest? A preference or like for particular activities or subject. What do you prefer? A coffee or a cold drink? Hot drink or cold drink? Preference, we say. Here I have given you two examples. Students' attitude towards science practical work. Some students may say science practical work is very interesting. Some may say it's very hard, boring, like that. Students' interest in A-level arts versus science stream. Some students may, even though they get 9 A's, they select arts because of their interest. So, according to the scholars, attitude can be defined as the psychological tendency to view a particular object or behavior with a degree of favor or disfavor. A psychological tendency to view a particular object or behavior with a positive of favor or negative favor. Further, attitudes are generally understood to be formed through a process of individual subjective evaluation. First, this person should evaluate, involving a rational assessment of cost and benefits. He has to assess first regarding something or evaluate. He has to find out the advantages and disadvantages, benefits, rationalize. He should be able to rationalize why he have positively think about something and why he think about negatively. They are also influenced by affective and emotional responses and related beliefs. Affective and emotional the attitude is connected to or influenced by emotional response. Further, based on our beliefs, what we believe, if we believe something, we will have a positive mind. If we don't believe about it, we will have a negative mind, attitude. So, attitudes are defined as being specific to an object or behavior, while beliefs are more generic, relating to a wider worldview and tend to be more stable. When we comparing the concept, attitude, and beliefs are more generic. It's related to a world view, cover the vast area. Tend to be more stable. Our beliefs we believe on God. We are stable. But when comparing with the Billy, the attitudes are not so much stable. When we rationalize something, we understand something, its good and bad sides, our attitude may change. How we view something. So, here we want to know, according to I already show a picture, affective domain. We have to, in order to develop a balanced personality or a good citizen, we should develop cognitive domain, affective domain, and psychomotor domain simultaneously and similarly. We can't focus on one domain only. So, how do I ask you? Earlier also I asked this question from you. How do students feel about learning mathematics? How do you know? Maybe you may say their action, their words, you can take them as evidence. But can you say how much they are, how much their attitude can't? So we have to measure it with a scale. So attitude scales, let's see what are they. They can be divided into two groups. What are they? Single item scales, multi-item scale. You can just go through, the image displayed in the screen, you just try to understand. Take a minute and read it. Okay, I think you have get an idea. You have got an idea. Here, we are not going to discuss all the scales due to the time factor. We will, according to the syllabus, we will discuss one or two scales. Self-reported scales. Again, they are, I mean, naming. These scales include Likert scale, Thurston scale, and semantic differential scale. Here, they are multi-level scales, right? The response indicate their level of agreement or disagreement with statement, providing a qualitative measure of their attitude. Let's see. These measures assess automatic or unconscious attitude that may not be readily apparent through self-report. A common techniques include the implicit association test and the affected misattribution procedure. Similarly, behavioral observations. Observing individuals' behavior in real life or control settings can provide insight into their attitudes. For example, marketers may measure consumer attitude by tracking purchase behavior in the marketing field. Okay, now let's see one by one. Single question technique, that mean single item scale. These are straightforward approaches where we use one question to get an attitude or interest. One question we give. These questions are straightforward. For an example, direct question, do you like studying science? Here, the response options, three options are given. Yes, no, uncertain. Similarly, rating scale question. How much do you enjoy learning English? Scale from 1 to 5. 1 indicates not at all, and the 5 indicates very much. Another example is ranking questions. Rank these subjects by your interest we give them. They have to order. They have to prioritize according to their interest. One may write first Sinhala, another may write mathematics. Why? Because according to their interest they write. Yeah. What are the advantages? Quick administer. We can quickly give to the students and collect their ideas, data. Easy to score. Useful for immediate feedback. Quickly we can get their feedback. If we go to the dialogue or whatever the what data center, after coming, they will send us a message, text message. How do you rank our customer service? If we are satisfied, we will give them the higher rank. If we are not satisfied, we will give them a lower rank. What are the limitations we have in this scale? We can't say the reliable. Here the reliability is a problem. I think now you know reliability. What is reliability? Now think about. If you can't remember, go through your note or check the word. Reliability. I'm not going to explain it again. Cannot capture the depth of attitudes. I told you how much can we say. Here the students say yes or no. How much of yes? Can't say. Example, a teacher asks, "Do you find group work helpful?" A student might say, "Yes, ma'am," or "Yes, sir," because they don't want to seem uncooperative. Even though they don't lie, they don't try to show it. So even if they actually prefer working alone, sometimes this happens in our classrooms. They pretend to get good name, good, I mean, will. So now can you remember? I told you reliability. What is reliability? We have already talked much enough. Same results under similar condition we should get for a test. Validity, then what's validity? Measures what intend to measure, what we plan to measure, what we want to measure. Example, if an attitude scale about learning chemistry only asks about marks, it lacks validity. Why? It's not uh, ask about their interest. Our purpose is to a- assess or measure their, attitude or feeling. Here, see, these pictures, display you what's reliability and the validity. You know, high validity, the first picture here is high validity and high reliability. This picture indicate high validity but low reliability. This picture illustrate high reliability but low validity. This picture illustrate low reliability and low validity. You can compare it here. So, attitude scale use multiple items. Now, so far we discussed the single item. Now we are going to discuss about attitude scales use multiple items to measure attitudes more reliably and validity. Now we checked the single item questions, the single item techniques. Here you can remember. And here they are here we show this picture illustrates about their validity and reliability. In order to increase the reliability and validity, we should have another scale. Then only we can get the real, we can understand the real situation. As here in attitude scales, we use multiple items to measure attitudes more reliably and validity. So these multiple item measures increase the reliability and validity of the scales. Just see. Think of as using several thermometers instead of one to measure temperature. Think you earlier used one thermometer to measure the atmospheric temperature, environmental temperature. Now you have several tools, several thermometers, and you can, measure the atmosphere temperature by them and collect a more accurate reading. Let's see. The first one is called Thurston type scales. Let's see how it works. First, we generate or create many statements. They are not questions. You have to remember, they are not questions but statements. First, we have to generate many statements about the attitude object. For an example, 100 plus, that means 150, 200, like that statements about attitude towards co-curricular activities. Students' attitude towards co-curricular activities. Then next, we have a panel of judges. They are not the targeted response. We are going to give this scale to our students. These panel of judges are not included there. They are separate ones. We give them an asked to rate each statement on an 11-point scale based on how favorable to unfavorable it. There are 11 scales. One corner describes favorable and the other end describes the unfavorable. We give several statements with 11-point scales and ask them to marks. Then collect all the answer script and calculate the median. Now you know what is median and quartile deviation. Even the quartile, what's quartile deviation? You know for each statement. Then select statements that spread evenly across the 1 to 11 scale. Have low quartile deviation, high agreement among the judgment. You know what is when the which is good, low quartile deviation or high quartile deviation. I'm not going to explain about it. You should understand it. Final scale typically has 20 to 25 or 22 statements. We select from 100 and plus statements just 20 or 25 statements. Respondents, then we give it to the respondents, students. Check statement what they agree with. They give them to the students and ask them to mark. Here score median scale value of checked state. Already we have checked with the panel of judges. So this why we are doing all these things in order to increase the validity and reliability. Here, these are the steps we have to follow. Development item pool, then validation of the item pool, taking experts options, pilot testing, administration of the instrument, then calculating validity and reliability. Now, go through this image. and try to understand. Even here in this development process, this picture illustrates the Thurston scale development process. The example taken here, school uniforms promote discipline. For example, one statement. The second one is panel of judges. Third one is calculate statistic for each statement. We collect their median and quartile deviation. Give means measure of agreement among judgment. Step 4. Select statements. Choose from you have already made more than 100 statements. You have to choose from it 20 or 22 or 25. How do you select those statements? The statements which have low quartile deviation, that means high agreement. Third, then the fifth step, we administer to the respondents, that means the students, to check statements they agree with and check their attitude. So, the uniform policy, this is if it is 1 point, already we said there are 11, the scale is deviate from 1 to 11. So if we get a point like 1.2, that means very unfavorable. If it is 5.8, nearly around, that is natural. And if it is nearly around 10.5, it's very favorable regarding or towards school uniform policy. Further, some example we will take and see. What is the example? Science is essential for national development. Now you also can rank according to there are 11 scales have given. See, one is the least favorable to the concept and the 11 is most favorable to the concept. That means science is essential for national development. If you also mark your agreement and check. If one select 3, that means he thinks as it's not important. If one select 11, he strongly agree that science is essential for national development. Like that. 7 or 8, not much sure. Another example is science is difficult and unnecessary. Science is very difficult and it's unnecessary to me. If you rank 11, what it indicates? You strongly believe that statement. You say if you mark 11, science is difficult and unnecessary. You agree with that statement. I mean, you say it's 95.5 or 100% you believe it. You say it, agree with that statement. If you think science is not difficult and it is necessary, what would be your answer? It should be 1. If you mark 1, the negative statement here. If you mark 1, what's that meaning? Science is not difficult and it is necessary. Please keep in your mind this. First one is the positive statement. The second one is the negative statement. After that, for each item, you plot the distribution of pi. Here see, get the median and interquartile range. For the analysis purpose. Similarly, how do you like our service? This one, from the dialogue, even in the Mobitel, Heart, you get it. How do you like our service? There are 10 scales. If you select 1, you don't like their service. If you select 5, you are not quite sure. If you like 10, yeah, you like their service. I think you can understand now. Again, we come to the attitude towards school uniform policy. Example, sample Thurston statements. Yes, see, scale value 1.2. We have got here 1.2. That means school uniforms completely suppress student individuality. Very unfavorable. You don't agree with that statement. If the value is 5.8, it's somewhere in the middle. So school uniforms have both advantages and disadvantages. You are neutral there. You compare both the advantages and disadvantages. You didn't find more advantage or more disadvantages. You find similarly, equally amount of, number of disadvantages, sometimes advantages. So you are neutral. If the scale value is 10.5, that means school uniforms promote equality. It promote equality and discipline among all the students. Very favorable, positive statement. Right? I think you got it. Now let's see the features or nature of the statements. Statements related by experts, related by already they have prepared. If you go to the web and you search Google, if you Google and search Thurston scale like that, they have already made. You can follow, you can directly use for your purpose if it is matched with your purpose. If not, you can modify them or you can create your own. Each statement has a scale value. Respond 6 statements, they agree with it. You may agree with one statement, one scale. I may agree with another scale. What are the advantages? Equal interval scales. All are equal interval. Last time also I told you the interval, class interval. Okay. Equal interval scales. They are equal interval scales. Mathematical operations are meaningful and thus ask directly about feeling. That means it does not reduce social desirability bias like that. Because the equal scales are there. The Thurston scale does, not only have advantages, but there are some disadvantages too when using the Thurston scale. What's that? What are they? One is time consuming to develop because we have to develop, if we are developing, we have to develop more than 100 statements. It's not easy task. It's not an easy task. It consumes time. Similarly, the expensive. It requires a panel of judges copying the papers and other like that. It requires the expensive is much. It's very important. The other point is very, very important. That is, judges' bias can affect scale values. If judges are biased, what is the meaning of bias? Pakshapata. They are not agree. Now, what's happening in our country, current situation towards the what we call the national curriculum reforms towards the judges or the viewers bias, their influence. However, they stopped implementing in this year for grade 6. So the other one is, I told you, we use 2 scale. We are learning the most popular scale is another one is Likert scale. this is very, very important. We use popularly, we use this in our educational researches. Let's see how it works. Here we also have to generate statements about the attitude object, both the positive objective, statements and negative statements. For an example, if we have generated 20 statements, if we want to generate 20 statements, then we have to generate 10 positive statements and 10 negative statements. I already explained you what are negative statements and what are positive statements. So I'm not going to explain it again. Responses formate the scale indicate the level of agreement here. Agreement and the disagreement. Here all the scales start with 1 to 5. The 1 means strongly disagree. Not only disagree, which is more power? Disagree or strongly disagree? Strongly disagree means 100% like that. Disagree means 75% like that, we can say. Undecided. I can't decide it whether I disagree or agree with the statement. Then the fourth one is agree. I agree with you. Normally we say. Sometimes we also say, I strongly disagree with this statement with you, like that. So the scale, there are 5-point scales. Right? How we score here is very carefully listen. Positive statements also there. Similarly, negative statements also there. Positive statements scored as shown above. Positive. If, negative statements reverse record. Let's see what's that. With an example, here see what is the first. This is regarding, attitude towards online learning. You have, real experience towards it. Online classes make learning more accessible for me. This is a positive statement. This is a positive statement. If you mark first one, that means strongly disagree. You are not agree with this statement. Second, that means you disagree. Third one, you are uncertain. Fourth, you agree with this statement. If you mark fifth one, that means you strongly agree with this statement. You strongly agree with the positive statement. That's why here they say if you positively statement scores are given as, if you mark this one, this is a positive statement. If you mark here, you can, we have to give marks for that. Here you can give 1 mark. Here 2 marks. Here 3 marks. Here 4 marks. Here 5 marks. That means online classes make learning more accessible for me. You have marks strongly agree. That means you are strongly agree with the statement. So the researcher or somebody gives 5 marks because the positive statement, positive, strongly agree. Now take the second one. Now very carefully see the second statement. I find it difficult to concentrate during online lessons. I find it difficult to concentrate during online lessons. Now tell me, is that a positive statement or a negative statement? Exactly, it is a negative statement. I find it difficult to concentrate during online lesson. If it is positive, we can make it a positive even the statement. Then we have to write how. How do we have to write? I find it easy to concentrate during online lesson. Then it is a positive statement. But here given the negative statement is given to you. So you mark now clearly, concentrate, strongly concentrate. I find it difficult to concentrate during online lessons. You mark as strongly disagree. You strongly disagree with that statement. That means what it gives us the meaning. You find it easy to concentrate during the online lesson. That's why you strongly disagree with this statement. Right? The second one, if you mark second one disagree, that means you find it easy. That's why you disagree with. I find it difficult. No, you don't find it difficult. That's why you mark D. If you mark uncertainty, you don't feel as difficult or not difficult. You can't say it. Sometimes it's difficult, sometimes easy. So you can't come to a judgment or decision. Now think about the fourth answer. You agree with it. I find it difficult to concentrate during online lessons. You say, yes, I agree. That means you find it difficult to concentrate. If you agree with a negative statement, you agree with that means you feel like that. Now let's say 1 mark as strongly agree. Yeah, I strongly agree with that statement. What is the statement? I find it difficult to concentrate during online lessons. It's very difficult. You agree, totally you agree with that statement. Then when we give marks for that statement, here for negative, we reverse course. That's why we say if you find it here, I find it difficult to concentrate during online lessons. No, I strongly disagree. If you put here, we put 5 marks. For this one, 4 marks. For this one, 3 marks. For this one, 2 marks. And for strongly agree, 1 marks. Now think about the positive statement. Here, make learning more accessible for me. You said, I strongly disagree. Then you have 1 marks here. You have to give 1 marks. Here 2 marks. Here 3 marks. Here 4 marks. Here 5 marks. Online classes make learning more accessible for me. yes, I strongly agree, then you get 5 marks. That for the student, if a student mark it, you give it 5 marks. For the negative statement, vice versa, think carefully. I find it difficult to concentrate during online lessons. It's your agreement now. I find it difficult to concentrate during online layers. Yes, I strongly disagree. That means positive feeling you have. That means you find it difficult to not difficult to concentrate, easy. So for these, if you marks strongly this, if a student mark it, you have to give 5 marks. Here 4 marks. Here 3 marks. Here 4 marks. And to this question, you have to give, this scale, you have to give 5 marks. Sorry, 1 mark. Why? I find it difficult to concentrate during online years. I strongly agree. Don't confuse. That's why here say positive statements post as shown above. Positive statements. Strongly disagree means you give 1 marks. Disagree means you give 2 marks. Undecided means you give 3 marks. Agree means you give 4 marks. And disagree, strongly agree means you give 5 marks for the positive statement. If the statement is negative, reverse code. That means strongly disagree means you give 5 marks. Disagree means you give 4 marks. Uh, Undecided means you give 3 marks. Agree means you give 2 marks. Strongly disagree means you give 1 marks. Then the total scores. You will find the total here. Here there are 4 statements. Then this one is online learning. Allow me to learn at my own pace. තමන්ගේ වේගෙන් තමන්ට පුළුවන් ආකාරයට ඉගෙන ගන්න ඉඩ දෙනවා. So this is a positive statement. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that you have to give marks. And I miss the face-to-face interaction with teacher. This is a negative statement. Then you have to give your marks 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you have to here total. Here we have to write total and you have already given marks. Then you have to count all the total for this. Not for this. Each student's answers. If there are 30 students in the classroom, 30 students answers for the first statement you have to consider and add all the marks. 30 students then you have to divide it by 3 and you can get a sum value, average value for this statement. Do you understand? Do you understand? Here I have given another example. Scales. Likewise also you write here strongly disagree. This one start strongly agree. Similarly you can write, but the marking score is the same. Right? Here what they have done. Include useful, extremely useful, the most useful article on the internet. There, the average marks they have taken. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's move. This is the Likert scale. When you are doing the research part in your study, this is very important to measure or assess or evaluate the attitude towards something. Here we discuss about the online learning. You have the real experience regarding it. Some may have like the online learning, some may like the face-to-face learning. They have rationales, they have their, justification. They have, so that is their own opinions. We can't select. So here, responses scoring one. Positive means 5 points. Negative means like here this one you can understand. I have already eh, this is for these four items. One has marked like this, right? So the score is 5 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1 out of 20, 12 marks he has got. Moderately negative attitude toward online learning that student has. Right, scoring example again I am given, you can go through and learn it. I'm moving to the other part. Here you can, here I have compared both Likert scale and Thurston scale. Construction, there we have to, complex need judges. We have to generate more than 100 statements and we have to select from them. But here, like at scale, we can generate 20 or 25 or 30 statements. Time requirement, here very high, yes, moderate. Cost, I'd like to talk about reliability. Reliability in Thurston scale, good. Likert scale, generally better. The popularity, which one mostly used? Likert scale is mostly used for classroom and school level researchers. You study. Okay, let's move to the other. we can summarize. Single questions are quick but unreliable. We have already. Give me a minute. So, attitudes. Attitudes and interests. I have summarized it here. So far, what we have learned. Let's move to the other part, the intelligence. Here the first part I told you about measuring intelligence. So we have to move to that part. Can you tell me what do you mean by intelligence? Intelligence. There are several definitions in the web if we search, and different scholars have defined intelligence differently. Thurman, a scholar, has defined as the ability to carry on abstract thinking. What do you mean by abstract thinking? I mean, if we ask you to think about, close your eyes and think a chair, you will be able to think. You know the structure of the chair. However, whatever the model, whatever the shape, it has four legs and like this. That. But when we say something, the verbal and symbolic thinking. Now let's see. Previous lesson, we studied lot of equations. Can you remember standard deviation? The equation for the standard deviation, the equation for arithmetic mean. You have to think there. You can't imagine a picture there. The difference you can understand. That's abstract intelligence. Logically, you have to think. You have to imagine there. According to Binet, he defined as the capacity to judge well. The intelligence means the capacity to judge well, to reason well, and to comprehend well. To reason out well and comprehend, comprehend, understand well. That is, he said, the capacity of it is intelligence. According to Tom, what is Thorndike? Yeah, Thorndike, he assumed that intelligence involves three mutually independent abilities. Independent abilities. They are not dependent one on another. What are they? Abstract intelligence, that is like we discussed now, the ability to verbal and symbolic thinking. Symbolic thinking. Hmm. Now think about Newton, Sir Isaac Newton. The Sir Isaac Newton, he was sitting under the apple tree, and when he found the apple fell down, there his thinking was abstract thinking. Mechanical intelligence, that means the ability to effectively control your body and manipulate objects. That is the mechanical intelligence, it says. Thorndike, according to Thorndike, the ability to effectively control your body and manipulate objects. Again, other one is social intelligence. What is social intelligence? The ability to manipulate with people, ability to communicate with people, understand and perform in social relations. That's why we say emotional intelligence. Social intelligence, there are social intelligence, emotional intelligence. We talk about nowadays. IQ, EQ, SQ, we talk about. So, according to Thorndike, intelligence means which one should develop all the skills. In a simple way, we can say, intelligence is one of the most measured and debated psychological constructs. Already I told you what is psychological construct. According to different theories, there are different theories. You can search it in the, Google or whatever, the web. Different theories are there. They explain us what is intelligence. See, one is Spearman's factor. We talk about general intelligence. You go through and find it out. I'm not going to talk about that one. The Gardner's multiple intelligence. That is very important. Gardner's multiple intelligence. That's even in the new curriculum, they talk about this Gardner's multiple intelligence. All students are not same. All are individually different. Right? See, Gardner's multiple intelligence. Kinetic, logical, linguistic, musical, interpersonal, yes, again, intrapersonal, visual, naturalistic, existential. I mean, what are the meaning of that? Here the meaning have given you. Linguistics. Some students have the ability to speak and write well than the others. They are specialized in linguistic. I mean, they can talk well, they can write well. Some good poets are great. There are good poets, good writers. All can't, right? All can't speak well. All don't, don't become a motivative speaker. Can't come. Logical, mathematical mean the ability to use logic and mathematical skills to solve problems. So, like Newton, Sir Albert Einstein. Not only them, we also can in our, if someone is like someone like maths, and he, if he can do well perform in maths, he has that ability. The spatial means the ability to think and reason about objects in three dimensions. Musical means the ability to perform and enjoy music. All are not, all can't become as singers. Those who have, I mean, intelligence in musical, they will come as singers and like that. Kinetic. What is the meaning of kinetic? The ability to move the body in sports, dance, or other physical activities. They have the ability than the others. Some are always moving here and there. I mean, can do sports well. All can't do sports well. Interpersonal, the ability to understand and interact effectively with others. Socially, they are intelligence. Intrapersonal means the ability to have insight into the self. Individually, he can perform. No need of the, he doesn't need the support of the peers for others. But some need. Naturalistic means the ability to realize, identify, and understand animals, plants, and other living. They lovers. They are the lovers of nature. So, Gardner says there are how many intelligence type of intelligence? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 type of intelligence Gardner talks about. That's why we say multiple intelligence. That's why we say that all the students are not same. They are different. They have individual needs. Some can, learn through music. Some can learn through activities. Some can learn through using the pictures. Then some can learn better in the social environment with their peers when they do group works. But some can, all alone, they can manage everything. Some are smart enough in speaking. Logically, they speak. On the spot, they speak. All are not the same. Intelligence, right? How to measure their intelligence? The question is there. That is our problem. We are here. In this subject, we measure everything. We want to measure. How to measure the intelligence? Measuring intelligence involves standardized objective testing to evaluate cognitive abilities such as reasoning, memory, speed, and knowledge. Standardized test. Already they have made standardized, well popular. They have accepted by all the countries. These assessment often results in an intelligence quotient. That's why IQ we say scores with a mean of 100. We say the IQ level, IQ paper, IQ level of the students. Now let's say, what is IQ? IQ is a standardized measure used to assess human intelligence across various domains, including abstract reasoning, memory, and problem solving abilities. We say for Isaac, no, Sir Albert Einstein had IQ more than 143 or 46, like that. The concept of IQ emerged in the early 20th century, initially linked to the development of intelligence tests by Alfred Binet and later adapted by Lewis Thurman, the scholars, into the Stanford Binet. They are the people who create this one. Intelligence scale is modern IQ test typically yield a score based on a distribution with a mean of 100 and a standard deviation of 50. Now you know what is mean and what is deviation. Standard deviation, allowing for comparisons across different age groups and different populations. For the different age groups, different IQ levels are there. Different IQ levels are there. IQ level increases with what? Age level. Think about the 2 years old child and a 5 years old child and a 10 years old child and a 20 years old one. The IQ level different. Some experts, according to Stanford Binet intelligence, we just talk about the history, originally developed by Alfred Binet in 1905 in France. It was then revised by that test is already made. Then it was revised by Lewis Thurman at Stanford University in 1960. The current version, Stanford Binet 5, SB5. If you search, you can find it out. I think so. I could search. I thought to search it, but I didn't have enough time to do it. You can search it and find it. What are the key features in this? Here, individual examination, one by one. One examiner, one examinee. The special thing is this one we can give it to age, range 2 to 85 plus years. All can do this exam. So, nowadays we are talking about some students are much intelligent, more intelligent. They can work very well. Some students do their O levels in Sri Lanka, 15, 16 years we do O level. Some students able to do it in 14 years. They are capable enough to do the exam. That means they are intelligent. level is little bit high. Even you have heard in other countries, some 16 years or 9 years old one has completed his university degree and like that. They have, right? Then IQ calculation. IQ means historically what they say mental age and chronological age into 100. For an example, a 10-year-old child performs at the level typical of 12-year-olds. Then what is his IQ level? We have to mental level. The typical, he performs that level, the performing level, right? Intellectual level, 12. And the chronological age means by birth. How born in this blah 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 year. Like this boy's real age, and by birth his age is 10 years, but his mental age is 12. See, very interesting. 12. So we have to divide the mental age by the chronological age, that is 12 by 10. Then we have to get the answer and multiply it by 100. The answer is 120. IQ is 120. If just think as like this, these boys, chronological age by birth, his age is 10 years and he performs at the level typical of 10-year-olds one, then his IQ level, what is his IQ level? Then 10 by 10, 1 into 100, that is equals to 100. IQ level is 100. A normal person's. But this boy's IQ is somewhat higher, 120. If another student, let's say another student perform like this, is 10 years old, by birth he's 10 years old, but he is able to perform at the level of typical 8 years old child. Mental age is, we can say then 8. Then what is his IQ level? We have the mental age 8, chronological age 10. If we divide 8 by 10, what's the answer? 0.6, 0.8. Then if we multiply it with 100, multiply by 100, the answer will be 8. Okay. Then although he is 10 years old by birth, 10 years old, he can't perform as a 10-year boy or a girl. He can only perform as a 8 years boy. This is happening. Similarly, think he's 10 years old, but he performed as a 4-year child mentally. Like a 3 years, just say 3 years child. Then what will be his IQ? Then 3. We have the mental age is 3. The physical age is 10. Then if we divide 3 by 10.3, then we have to multiply by 100. Then his IQ level is 30. Behave like a child. There are some people like that the IQ level is always low. We have to thank for the God to be like this. Take a minute and thank for the God. Because I always in the social media, there's a group I can't remember. They are big enough. The people are big enough. They are in their old age, like 60, 65, 70. But still they behave like a child. What a pity. Because of the IQ level. It's low. Thanks God. We have to thank God. Okay? So this is the history. Here you can see the IQ. You can read this and find there are some, I mean, what I have discussed with you here. There are intelligent part described little bit more. You can read it and understand, I think. So the modern scoring is deviation we should get mean 100 and standard deviation is 50. So using this we can measure 5 factors. What are they? Fluid reasoning. One is fluid reasoning. The other one is knowledge. And the other one is quantitative reasoning with numbers, quantitative reasoning, and visual spatial processing, working memory power, how much memory power he has, how much visualize, imagine. We have to imagine and visualize a lot of things we can't see. Now, let's say take about the atomic level. Can we say the molecules in the water? We can't see. Imagination. The Sir Albert Einstein say learning means imagination. We have to be able to imagine, reasoning out. Now, this is the intelligent level. So, at the child guidance clinic, for an example, we will take an example and see. At the child guidance clinic in Colombo, a psychiatrist might use SBIS. So far, we are talking about it to assess a child referred for learning difficulties. A child has learning difficulties. He can't do the work given in the classes, the particular class. According to the age, he should be in grade 5, but he can't do the work given in grade 5. So the doctor tests it, and the test takes 45 to 75 minutes in a what? Little bit like that. Distractions in a free room. We'll keep them in a free room and they will do the test. If you are more interested on it, you can search it and find it. But here also, there are some limitations. Culturally biased toward Western context. This test is somewhat culturally biased towards the Western context, not to the Asian's context, not much like that. Required expensive materials and training to do this test. The person who examiner should have language barriers because standardized tests are in English. So we have language barrier, or we have to translate it to a not no on Sri Lankan. This is the that 115. Mean score is 100 and SE score is 15. That is for the Western culture. It is not particularly for Sri Lankan. Sometimes if we test it for Sri Lankan, our average and the SE will may change. So this problem is there. And there are a lot of intelligent tests like that. There are three versions we are going to see here. WPPSI, you can read this one. Wechsler Preschool and Primary Scale of Intelligence. This test we can give it to the age 2.5 to 7 years students or children. This is used in early childhood assessment to check whether they are in a particular intelligent level as they are needed. As they needed. The other one is WISC scale for children. It is age range to 6 to 60. This is most relevant for schools. Most relevant for schools. School children can take this book. Current version is WISCB. You can search them. I don't know. I also want to try. I couldn't, as I saw. Well, I'm very sorry. I couldn't find it. You can. I also couldn't try even because of the time factor. The other one is WAIS, that is Adult Intelligence Scale, that can be used to ages between 16 to 19 years. Used in university settings, vocational guidance, like in that cases they use. Sometimes these are, we also give no IQ test. Now, for the teaching, for graduate teaching, it is called, the gazette is published. Then they have IQ test paper. There they will give some sums. They have to do 50 sums or 60 sums within 1 hour time period. If one has a much high, his IQ level is somewhat high, he can quickly do it. That's why for the exams, the public exams, for the selection exams, they use such examination. Here we don't have a standard one. They prepare IQ one. So these days we talk about these Q. IQ, we talk about so far. It works with left brain side designs according to the science. The well developed by, it's ruled by the left brain side. Equally, SEQ also we talk about now. Emotionally intelligent. Everywhere we talk about emotionally, it's ruled by governed by the right brain part of right side the part of the brain. And the spiritual intelligence, that means that is governed by whole brain. And more we nowadays we talk about that SQ, that is the social intelligence, intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence, and social intelligence. We should have social intelligence and emotional intelligence. That's what we talk about in 21st century skills. We have all, according to our syllabus, Sri Lankan syllabus, we are able to develop students' intellectual intelligence. But we fail to develop emotional and social intelligence. That's why we are talking, shouting, and doing everywhere. The human beings in every country, they are talking about the emotional intelligence, helping to each other, active listening. They are talking about helping each other, empathy, sympathy, talking about now we lack those skills. කාට හරි කිසිම අනතුරයක් මොන හරි වෙනවා නම් අපි වීඩියෝ කරන්නයි දැන් පුරුදු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මොනවා වුණත් වීඩියෝ තමයි කරන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට හෙල්ප් කරන්න යන්නේ. Why should I help him as a human being? මට දැනෙනවා නම් අනිත් අයගේ දුක මට දැනෙන්න ඕනේ. Because we are human being. Emotionally intelligent. Just hear a story and we forget it. මෙච්චර මෙන්න එහෙමද? Ignore him, go. No, it's not good. If we can help the person, maybe we know that person. Sometimes we don't know on the road or somewhere. If we are able, we have to do. That is the emotional intelligence side. We will feel it. If we can feel others' pain, we have emotionally, our level is little bit high. Okay, you can search and learn more about it. This is sample items from we talk about this is the one item from the net I search. You can go through and get an understanding. Due to the time factor, I'm moving. Here, 5 primary index scores. This one also verbal comprehension index, like that. There are visual, fluid reasoning index. Each one by one they take. Working memory index, digit span and picture span, like that. Processing speed index, coding, simple research, like that. There are a lot of parts. I think we no need of doing in-depthly for this. Here it has been summarized here. Here see similarities, vocabularies, verbal comprehension index means similarities, finding out vocabulary development, information and comprehension. They can comprehend well, like that. The skills have displayed here in a comparison. You can comparison structure. You can go through it and understand. So full scale, combination of a primary. So you see, this is the standard one. Scores in the, if one has scored according to a test, this is the average one. 330 plus is a superior man or superior girl. Let's see. The average, I think here you can see the average, right? This is high average. IQ level is low average. This is borderline. Below 70 means extremely low. It's not. For an example case study, Nimal, a grade 8 student, struggled in all subjects despite attending extra class. His teachers referred to him for a psychological assessment. So teachers can give and examine him. You can go through this one, and there are assessment like that. You can go through and get an understanding for further understanding. CSC. This is sample item on the skill test. It's one of the sample item. Here like this. Even in the scholarship we give for our students. You can go through it and get it an idea. So last time we learned about the normal curve. Most of this is the average line. This is average. Mean, what is the mean? 100. And what is the ST level? Standard deviation is 50. Right? So mentally handicapped. Oh, here is part. Mentally handicapped. These people are borderline people. See, the green ones are the slow learners. The yellow ones are low average ones, and the somewhat orange side is high average, and dark orange is above the average. Ash means superior, and we say this part is as the gifted child. That's why we say now classroom there are the students are not same. They have individual needs. The inclusive classroom. Nowadays we are talking about the inclusive classroom. There are gifted child. There are gifted children in sometimes our classroom. Average one, above average ones, maybe the lower ones are there, slow learners are there. I mean, there are a variety of students in our classroom. That's why we say students are not same. They are individually different. They have individual needs. They have individual support. Actually, now you can understand this part of the student don't need much of our help, teacher's help. But below the average one, especially need the teacher's help. So their teachers have to keep it in their mind. Okay, this is the one. Again, this is here. The same thing has displayed here. Then distribution 115, 60% of the people between 185, 85 and 155. I mean, this part, the average, around average, one standard deviation, distance from one standard deviation. Last time we talked about it in detail. Just remember, or if you can't remember, go through that lesson. So, okay, group intelligence test. So, individually group. In a group, administered to many students at once, this paper, like that, we give at once to do, I mean, we take a lot of students in the classroom. We have a lot of, let's say 35 students, give administered test to all the students at once. This is paper pencil type of test. This is, I mean, example, school selection test. We give them for the school selection, scholarship exam screening in order to give them the better schools, like that. Less detailed than individual tests. We can't, I mean, scholarship examination is somewhat like this. The clever ones, we selecting the clever ones and give them better environment for learning, developing or giving better environment and facilities for their learning. And that was talking in, I mean, that was the purpose of opening central colleges in Kanagara reforms. But nowadays it has become Ambala's examination. This is somewhat the picture. You can verbal performance, you can go through, take your own time and you can understand these things. Right? What are the advantages? Time efficient if you are doing in a group. Cost effective. With a low cost we can do. It's easy to administer, no? Useful for screening. But we have disadvantages too. We also have disadvantage. What are the disadvantages we have? Let's see. Less accurate than visual test. Sorry, individual test. We cannot access very young children or those with severe disabilities. They require reading ability. Students require reading ability to sit the exam. Think about the scholarship examination. They should be able to read and write. In the group of people, students, some may couldn't read and write. Then how can they sit the exam? They give us less diagnostic information because I mean, you can I think you have experience your own experiences. I mean, those who failed in the O-level, scholarship examination have well performed in O-level and A-level. Some professors also say they are talking about their childhood experiences, how they behaved in childhood and now how they have developed. So it's less distinguished information the group intelligence test gives us. Common group text. There are some tests called, here the names and why we use the details as given just for an information, not too much of this one is not needed for your examination, but for your knowledge I have given these things, you can go through and understand. So scenario, let's think about a scenario. The Ministry of Education want to identify academically talented students from what's the word here? From rural areas for a special scholarship program. That's what they gave in the scholarship with the purpose of that they brought. The approach is use Raven's progressive matrix that test. Minimal language requirement, important in rural areas, can be administered to large number of groups, more than 100 students, less it is less culturally biased, cost effective for national screening, less sample item format, visual pattern with missing piece that comes in even in the adults examinations also, selection examinations also come. Even in the scholarship also such questions come in IQ paper. So intelligent test can be classified. I have summarized again individual test. These are, for an example, has given. These are the group test examples have given here. You can go through. So we are going to summarize the intelligent past again. SBIS and Wechsler scales, individual diagnostic require training, that part. Group test, screening, effective, efficient, less precious. Interpret partially in Sri Lankan context due to cultural bias and lack of local norms. How much it suit with us, we can't say. IQ is one piece of information, not destiny. IQ is one information, I mean the ability. It's not the destiny. Very good saying. Here also you can full scale IQ. You can, go through it and understand again. Here also you can see how we use them, how to come to a conclusion using this. So this is the, summary, individual test, group test, verbal test, non-verbal test, like that verbal test, non-verbal test are there. That's what we have learned so far. Take a minute, give me a minute. We have to move to the emotional adjustment side. Okay, let's continue. Introduction. We have already discussed the attitude, how to measure attitude and interest, then how to measure intelligence. Now we have moved to emotional adjustment, emotional intelligence side. In emotional adjustment, what is it? Do you know? It refers to how well an individual copes with daily challenges, regular its emotions and maintain psychological well-being. Very nice. I mean, it's so close to us. I mean, emotional adjustment we need it. Every minute we need in this society. I mean, emotional, even if we drive a car, we need emotional intelligence. So, I mean, adjustment. I think you have the experience how cruel the people are. I always feel like that. Why these people so much cruel? They don't have patience. They hone and hone and hone, and even in the roundabout, and we have to. I mean, what is right, left? Sorry, right side vehicles. We have to use space to. I don't know why people are so hurry. That much of hurry. So every minute in our life we need emotional adjustment refers to how well an individual copes with daily challenges, regulates emotions, and maintains psychological well-being. If we take in schools, we increasingly recognize that emotional well-being is fundamental to academic success. Actually, it's a very important, fundamental to academic success. The suicide rate among students, we know exam-related stress and family pressure make this measurement very important. How many of have suicide after getting the A-level results? O-level, even the O-level results. We when open the social when we open the social media, we hear nowadays we don't have a habit of reading newspaper, but we hear the four the child who was in grade 4 suicide himself because of not giving the phone. Or father blamed him, mother blamed him in 12 years girl, 13 years girl, suicide. Why? Because mother blamed. How stressful in school. Nowadays, all the teachers are talking about that. Now, school life is very stressful. It's very difficult to control the students. They are not listening to us. Even the parents complain. They are not listening to us. Emotional adjustments, pressure, workplace pressure we have. Let's move and see what's up here. Emotional adjustment refers to how well an individual copes with daily challenges, regulate emotions, and maintain psychological well-being. Right? Personality here. We want to talk about the emotional adjustment. Connected is connected with the personality of a human being. What do you mean by personality? Well dressing or well behaving or something else? There are different type of personalities. Here there are 5 personalities have given: openness, consciousness, extraversion, agreeability, mindfulness, neuroticism. Let's see. Personality traits. There are personality traits relate because some can tolerate, but some can't tolerate. Even in the exam, some students get failed in all the subjects, they tolerate it. But some students can't tolerate. Why? Why is that difference is there? All the people are not suicide. All the people are not taking wrong decisions. Why some behave like this manner? So, relatively stable patterns of thinking, personality, relatively stable patterns of, traits mean relatively stable patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. These three actions have connection, thinking, feeling, behaving. First, we think. Second, think through our mind as we see with our eyes, smell, with our nose, like that. We think with our mind, thinking. Then the feeling. We react to, when we react to thinking, we feel it. When we react to feeling, we behave it. So there are 5 models, ocean models. Let's see what are they. Openness to experience. One personality trait is openness to experiences. Imaginative versus practical. Some live in the imaginary world. Some live in the practical world. Variety of seeing versus routine oriented. Their qualities are different. People's, that's why we always say individual are different. Consciousness means, let's see, I think I have, yeah, here also I have given. Here you can see high imaginative. Openness to experience means that type of personality traits are high imaginative there, curiosity is there, variety of seeing, creative power, they have such abilities. Low potential, they have low potential, conventional, routine oriented, low routine oriented, and low traditional. They are high in imaginative. They can imagine well. They have curiosity to do new things. They always seek creativeness, novelty. They try to find novelty in everything. They are not following the traditional habits or traditional. Example, does the student enjoy trying new learning methods or prefer familiar approaches? Our familiar approaches we have in our classrooms. Students are in rows and rows. Students sit and be quiet. Students sit in rows. Teacher comes and says, sit. Fine, I'm going to explain this. And teacher talk. And the students listen. We don't know whether the students listening or doing in mentally where they were. We don't know. Novelty. Some students like to do activities, practicals, like that. The personality difference. Consciousness means they are highly organized. They are well disciplined. They do time, discipline. They follow discipline. Well disciplined people. Reliable, achievement oriented. They want to achieve in their life. They want to achieve something. They are organized. They work for that. They are low in disorganized. They don't like. Spontaneous, flexible, careless. They are not careless. I mean, they are careless. Yes, actually, sorry. They are careless. For an example, we can say, does the student complete assignments on time and keep material organized? It indicates, it tells us something about the student's emotion or personality. Extraversion means they are high on outgoing, energetic. They are always energetic, talkative. They always talk and do behave, go here and there, and assertive. They are low in reserved. They can't be quiet. They are independent, reflective, similar, agreeableness, high in compassionate, cooperative. They like to work in groups, in society, trusting, helpful. They are very helpful. They help each other. Low. They are low, competitive. They don't like to competitive. Skeptical. They don't follow the same rules. Challenging, direct line. Example, how does the student interact with peers during conflicts? Now you can imagine how they behave according to your own experience. How students behave during conflicts. How do you behave during conflicts? And neuroticism, emotional stability means they are high anxious, moody, sensitive, emotionally reactive. They are. They are low in calm, stable, resilient, emotionally even. Let's see with an example. How does the student respond to exam stress or criticism? We all can't bear up the criticism, no? If somebody says something to us, we get angry. It's a human nature. But we should be able to tolerate it. Critically think, and we have to behave in a, well educated manner, not educated intellectual manner, but how can I say, emotionally balanced. How to be emotionally balanced. So this is part of the person. There are students in our classroom, different type of student in their even in personality traits. That's why we ocean, OCEAN. That's why ocean we say. They are different. In IQ level, they are different. In personality, they are different. In their attitude, they are different. So, personality traits have, the scholars have explain it with a diagram. Here, see, according to this diagram, left brain and right brain, they have divided the brain into two parts, and the four parts actually, again, another four parts, perspective, holistic, holistic, emotional, analytical, logical. Logical and extraversion mean judging. Introversion. Like that you can see, feel, think, judging, perspective, think, logical, analytical, holistic, logical, emotional. We know logically we can understand, but emotionally we can't bear up sometimes. So this in this way also it is described in the web. scholars have dominance character. I mean, that personality is dominant in the way they describe. If a person is dominant, they are direct, result-oriented, firm, strong-willed, focused-full. Consciousness, if the people. They are analytical, reserved, precise, private, systematic. Influence. Some people are influenced. The outgoing, enthusiastic, optimistic, positive vibes they have, high spiritual, lively, they always active, mean steadiness, even tempered, accountable, patient, humble. I mean, scholars have divided recognize the personal traits in different ways. I have given them here to just to understand. Measuring personality, that is what our lesson say. Measuring personality, there are so many ways to measure personality. The first one is Neo Personality Inventory Revise. There are 240 items in they measure big five. Uh, Earlier I talked about the five traits. That one we can give it to over 17 years old students, so children. The other one has true or false items, 567. Clinical use, that is used for psychological clinical use, we can give it to over 18 years old children. 16 personality factor questionnaire that measures 16 primary traits of the personality used in counseling and career guidance. They give it to find out their, emotional sides. For an example, a school counselor at Ladies College noticed that Tilini, a high active achieving grade 11 student, is exhibiting signs of perfectionism and anxiety. Some have that problem, perfectionism. They always want to be perfect. There are no one is perfect. Some are so anxiety. They have anxiety about the exams, life, whatever, like that. Assessment approach is too clinical, age appropriate. What type of assessment we can give them to measure? Personality trait, not that clinical age appropriate, inappropriate, perhaps a young personality inventory, better to focus, anxiety test inventory plus clinical interview. We can give such a test and identify. Procedures for evaluating emotional adjustment. Let's see. Self-report inventories. Students complete questionnaires about their own emotion and behavior. We can give them a questionnaire. They complete the questionnaire about their own emotions and behaviors. For an example, back depression inventory. The name is called like that. You can search it and find out 21 items are there. Assess depressions, and it can be given to over 13 plus students. Sample items are given for an example here. 0 means I do not follow. I do not feel sad. 1 means I feel sad much of the time. 2 means I'm sad all the time. 3 means I am so sad that I can't stand it up. You can, the emotional difference in these levels, like the sample items they give, ask to tick it. The other one is STAI, that is state anxiety, how you feel right now. State anxiety, how you generally feel. For an example, before O-level examination, administer STAI to identify students with high test anxiety who might benefit from relaxation training or counseling. Like that, in other countries, they give strength and difficulties of the questionnaire, brief screening tool, 25 items are there, measures emotional symptoms, conduct problems, hyperactivity, peer problems, pro-social behaviors like that we can measure for that. Excellent for school screening. Free, sure, validate, internationally accepted ones. We can give it. And what are the advantages of self-report? Direct access to internal states. Efficient standardized scoring. They have already made, so we say standardized, well accepted ones, so like that. What are the disadvantages? Social desirability bias are there. Limited self-awareness. We don't know. Especially the younger students don't know about it. Reading ability required for the small children, small ones, even the schools one, they should be able to read it and understand. Otherwise, it will give a misguide the student or misidea of the student. Cultural response styles are there, cultural influence like that. There are not much interest. Important projective techniques. There are some. For an example, student respond to ambiguous stimuli. Responses are tough to project unconscious feeling. Example, 10 ink plots. What might this be? Psychoanalytic interpretation, showing it and asking what might it be. And controversial reliability test, thematic approaches test, or pictures. We show pictures of ambiguous social situation to the students and ask the students to tell a story or create a story regarding it, based on it. It reveals the themes, conflict, and motivations of them. Like that, draw a pencil test. We ask the students draws a person. Pencil, very sorry. Draw a person test. Student draws a person. We ask the students to draw a person, and interpretation based on features, size, placement is for the small children. Normally we give it, and then when we ask, they give explain the things. For an example, a child psychologist at the Lady Richmond Hospital uses TAT with a grade 6 student who has become withdrawn after family problem. He has family problem. The story reveals themes of loss and happiness, guiding therapy. It help the doctor to suggest the therapy like that. It's a kind of measuring the sadness or something like that, we can say. Or we have to take some portions. It require extreme training in the interpret. The examiner should well train one. Low interrelated reliability. We can't believe on that. Much rely on that. Not suitable for routine school use. Normally for the school use, cultural factors influencing strongly affect responses. That's culture-based. We are culture-based. So even in our, different cultures in our country also have, or different cultures behave in a different way for a particular situation. Students from. So it's somewhat we have to keep in our mind. And the other one is observing the students' behaviors. We have to observe students' behavior, systematic recording of observable behaviors in natural setting. We have to observe in a natural setting students. Let's take our students. We have to observe systematic recording of observable behaviors in natural setting. There are four types have given here. Frequency recording. What is it? Count how many times the behavior occurs. The classroom, we can behave. The class teacher or a subject teacher within the 40-minute period, he can behave. Observe such a things. Count how many times the behavior occurs. For example, number of times a student leaves their seat without permission. These things happen in our schools. No, nowadays, I mean, they are not getting permission from us. I mean, number of times a students leave their seat without permission means there are, if the number of time is right, then, always a student who leave his seat without getting permission, there is something problem. There is a problem. During duration recording, how long does the behavior last? Particular behavior, we have to observe carefully. Example, the time spent crying or having rain tantrums. Some students, some children spend much time in crying. Crying is a natural habit. Children, small ones, always crying. But if a child cry for a long time differently, there we have to pay attention. Interval recording, divide observation period into intervals. 10 minutes intervals, 10-second intervals, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, like that, and observe. Record whether behavior occurs in each interval. We have divided like that. Let's say 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Then every 5 minutes, whether the behavior occurs. We have to notice. ABC analyze. What happens before, during, and after the behavior? The particular behavior we observe, what happened before the behavior, and during the behavior, child, what happened there, and after the behavior, what happens? Identifies triggers and reinforces. We can trigger points. We can find out what trigger out the person to behave like that. We can find out the children. Right, then observing, by observing, where we have to carefully observe the students or the human beings. This is what ABC model we discussed, understanding the context and function of behavior. A, what happens before the behavior? B, what exactly does the student do during the behavior? C, what happens after the behavior? According to the before behavior, trigger, what trigger out the student, what setting, even stimulate the students to behave like this. Observer, during the behavior period, we have to observe, we have to measure the actions. And after that, how the students, children responds, what's the outcome, what are the reinforcement after that they get, like that we have to observe. Here, this is again given in a particular student's behavior. For an example, at 10:15 a.m., Pierre takes his pencil without asking. One student taking with asking. behavior, push the peer, one student, shout it, give it to me like that, right? Then 10:30 a.m., teacher asks him to share materials, throws books on the floor. He doesn't like it. Peer gives him material to avoid conflict. After that, 11 a.m., Peer accidentally bumps into him, his peer on arm, hits peer on arms. After the behavior gets attention from teacher, peer move away. 2 p.m., what did he asked to wait for his turn, grabs material from another students. That is the behavior. After that, gets material immediately, actively continues. So we have to analyze all these things. Right here, patterns identify is aggression is reinforced by getting desired materials or outcome, receiving attention, even negative ones, avoiding uncomfortable situations, sharing, waiting, intervention plans. So, what the teacher can do? Teach alternative communication. Can I have that, please? And that's the alternative. Reinforce appropriate request with immediate complaints. Ignore minor protest. Practice sharing in structured, supervised situations. Pre-teaching before group work, review expected behavior. Like that, we have to train the student. Another example, see target student Kasun grade 4 displays aggressive behavior. Observation schedule when daily 30 minutes during group work. He is very, aggressive during the group work. Why? Observer, who is the observer? Teacher. Method is ABC analyze. You can use this method to find out his emotions. Here, 10:15, 10:30. You can go through it to understand. So, the social adjustment inventories, social skills we need for the social adjustment. Social skill rating system, there is a measure how much a student have these skills. So accesses, cooperation, assertion, responsibility, empathy, self-control, like the skills, whether he have or not, multiple rates also we can do, student, teacher, parent, all can, it's so there come the sociometry. I think you have heard already. Sociometry measures social relationship with the group. Sometimes we observe it now. Some students some students don't behave well in groups. They don't like to behave be in a groups. They don't share their things. They don't help to each other. So, sociometry. There are sociometric techniques we use. What are they? Peer nomination. Ask students, who are your 3 best friends in this class? It's very interesting. Ask students, who are your 3 best friends in this class. Peers rating. Students rate every classmate. How much do you like to work with this person? The scale you give 1 to 5. That is another way. Rostering and routing provide a class roster to rate each peer on specific criteria. Let's see what's it. Here see, I mean, sample sociometry. Here the little bit take a time and try to understand this image. The arrows, positive choices are there, negative choices are there, mutual choices are reciprocals, non-reciprocal, and the females also there, female students also there, and the male students also there. Some, I mean, students like others, similarly students don't like others. You see the connection they have shown here. The positive choices, here the negative choices. Negative choices. Positive choices. Sociogram. We say sociogram. Those points on the sociogram who have many choices are called the stars. According to this picture, who is the star? That means all like him in the classroom, he or she. Here, according to picture, it's a girl. Those points on a sociogram who have many choices are called stars. Those points in sociogram with no choices are called isolated. According to here, E is a star and A is isolated. Individuals who choose each other are known to have made a mutual choice. The choices refer to individuals who choose someone, but the choice is not reciprocated is called one-way choice. One here, this is one B choose E, but E doesn't choose B. But B and C, two-way. Matrix are group of 3 or more people with a larger who all choose each of or mutual choices. Here, this one, this one, this one. No one like him, but he likes the others. Here, no one likes him. He also doesn't like anybody. It indicates something to us. Here, social graph. We can draw like this. Here, these 3, I, J, K. They like each other. Here, B, popular star. G, isolated. So, sociogram, smaller population of fewer choice group is very well represented. By using this sociogram, we can use it for a smaller population, because if we use for a larger population, it's somewhat difficult to take decisions. It can tell the investigator only which person to choose and which person to be rejected for a particular purpose. But do not provide any reason for their accepting and rejecting over a period of time. It doesn't say us the reason, but it say they don't like and don't like. But why? For the question why, we don't get an answer. Sociogram may yield vary for the same group, for the same topic over the time. Choices in a group may be affected by certain factors like caste, age, prestige, and prevalence. So, in social groups that matter. Here see grade 9 sociogram. Who are in their votes are given here. Sanduni gets 12 votes, Anusha gets 8 votes, Tilini gets 3 votes, Kavya gets 6 votes, Rashmi gets 2 votes, Nisha gets 4 votes, Chamari gets no votes, Malini gets 7 votes. Star, high chosen 9 plus nomination, that means the Sanduni. Highly. Star. Sanduni is the star in the class. Popular, who are popular, blue. 5 to 8 nominations. Anusha, Kavya, and Malini are popular in this class. And average mean green, some friends, they have some friends. Nisha, Rashmi, and Tilini. Isolated, fewer, no nomination, that means they have no friends. I mean only one in this class, Chamari. Who would you like to work with peer work or something like that? Here the diagram, again I have given you the diagram in a different way. You can study some different ideas I have given here. These So, sociometric techniques used to study social adjustment. That is very important because social adjustment we need in our day-to-day life, in our real life, and each and everywhere we need a social adjustment. Even if we will go to the bank, we should have a social adjustment. Group dynamic. When we work in a group, in a working place, we need it. Group dynamic, social techniques. In learning, nowadays, I think you have studied, Vygotsky says, human beings learns in social environment, in a social context, rather than learn alone. Motivate us when we socially imbalance, it motivates us, it helps us, others help us. Discipline, we get a discipline there, right? That so sociometric technique used to study social adjustments, group dynamic, learning, motivation, discipline. Here see sociometric again, another way analyzed. A, B, C, who have chosen like this way also you can study. You can, try it out with in your class and find out the reason. In order to find out the reason, you have to talk with the students in a friendly manner, whether they have any problem, the students are like that. Your question is, which among the group you would like to go to ma'am to pressure her not to take any more classes. Choice 1 is 1, reject is 0. A is J is chosen with 5 choices. Let's see. Yes. While C is not chosen at all. Yes, see. Nobody likes. Why? There is a big question. Here also, J, why? 5 likes. 5 have chosen. Why? There is a big question. We have to find out the answer. Contradict. See, the social adjustment we need. She lacks the social adjustment. Maybe she or he. She might have well social adjustment. I don't know. We have to analyze. But the figure that tells us that message, gives us that message. Right? So, importance of social metric. Why do you think it's very important? Disanayaka, are you there? Disanayaka,
Yes, ma'am.
today do you have a CAT exam?
Yes, madam. At
At
3:30.
3:30, okay. You will get the home assignment also, isn't it?
Still no,
I
madam. We
I
will.
have I have sent them. I think they will give you.
Okay, madam.
Okay, there you have to do. I mean, last time we did calculation somewhat, the mean, median, standard deviation, like that. You can do, try to do it. Get practice. At home now you can take it and do. So study well and do the sums. There's no need to memorize the equations. But you should be able to do, substitute and do. Find the answer. At the same time, we have nowadays the apps. We can just feed the raw marks and we can get. But the thing is not. We have to understand why we do like this, right? And the MCQ also not so difficult, just a simple one. You can do. How you do this one? MCQ ones? You have to click there. Oh, normally how කොහොමද කරන්නේ ඒක? ඔගොල්ලෝ කොහොමද ඒක කරන්නේ? නැත්නම් අර ඔන්ලයින් එකේ ක්ලික් කරන්න ආන්සර්ස් දීලා ක්ලික් කරන්න කියනවද නැත්නම් වෙන විදියටද?
මැඩම් කැට් එකේ නම් අපිට MCQ දෙන්නේ. මේ
දීලා කොහොමද උත්තරේ ලියන්නේ?
ඒකේ ඔන්ලයින් මේ අපි ක්ලික් කරන්න ඕනේ උත්තරේ.
විනාඩි ගාණක් දෙනවද ඒක ක්වෙස්චන් එකට?
ඔව් මැඩම් පැය භාගයක් දෙනවා එක්සෑම් එකටම. පැය භාගයක් විනාඩි 40ක් දෙනවා.
ඒක විනාඩි 40 තුළ ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඒ ටික කරගන්න ඕනේ.
ඔව් normally MCQ 20ක් අපිට හම්බ වෙනවා.
එතකොට මේ අසයින්මන්ට් එක සාමාන්‍ය අනිත් සබ්ජෙක්ට් වලට කොහොමද කරන්නේ? කාලය
ඒක නම් මැඩම් ඒකේ සති දෙකක් දෙනවා අසයින්මන්ට් එක කම්ප්ලීට් කරන්න. අපි මේ ඩොකියුමන්ට් එක හදලා එවන්න ඕනේ.
හරි. හරි එහෙනම් ඒකත් දෙයි මන් දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒකේ සම්ස් තමයි ගණන් තමයි දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ගෙදර කරන හින්දා ඔයගලන්ට ප්‍රැක්ටිස් වෙන්න පුළුවන් එක. කොහොමත් එක්සෑම්ස් වලට එනවනේ ඒවා දැනගෙන ඉන්න එපා. ඒ හින්දා ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ අර මොකද්ද කියන්නේ ප්‍රැක්ටිස් වෙන්න කියලාමයි මම එහෙම දුන්නේ සම්ස්. එතකොට ඔයගලන්ගේ ඕන් ටයිම් අරගෙන ඔයගලන්ට try කරන්න පුළුවන්. මොනවා හරි ගැටලු නම් අහන්නත් පුළුවන්. මං හිතන්නේ ලබන සතිය විතරයි අපිට ක්ලාස් එක තියෙන්නේ නේද? එකත් එක ඉවර වෙනවාද? 6ත් 6 වෙනි ක්ලාස් එක ලබන සතියේ.
මැඩම් ලෙක්චර් මට මතකෙට 7ක් විතර යනවා. මේ
7ක් විතර යනවාද? ඒ කියන්නේ 7 මං
ඔව්
හිතන්නේ ඕවරෝල් මේ නිකන් රිවිෂන්
අර
එකක්
පේපර් එකක්
වගේ.
වගේ ඩිස්කස් ඔව් මැඩම්.
රිවිෂන් එකක් වගේ. හරි.
ඔව්
ඊට පස්සේ එක්සෑම් එක දෙනවා නේද?
ඒක පස්සේ එක්සෑම් එක.
එක්සෑම් එක මේ අනිත් සබ්ජෙක්ට් වල 2 hours ද?
ඔව් මැඩම් මේ කියන්නේ අපිට 9ට පටන් 9ට පටන් ගන්නවා.
ආ
ඉඳලා මට මතක පැය 3ක් වගේ තියෙනවා මැඩම්.
ඒ අතර ඔයගලන් කරලා අප්ලෝඩ් කරන්න ඕනේ එහෙමද?
9ට
ඔව්
පටන්ගෙන
මැඩම්
11ට ඉවර කරලා
ආ
පැය දෙකයි තියෙන්නේ.
එතකොට ඔයගලන් කරලා අප්ලෝඩ් කරනවද එහෙමද?
නෑ මැඩම් අපි ඔන්ලයින් සුපර්වයිස් කරනවා යාලා.
ආහා
අපි පේපර් එක ලියන එක දිහා බලන් ඉන්නවා යාලා.
ආහා එහෙනම්
ඒ
මේකට
කියන්නේ
පස්සේ එක යයි නේද? ඒකට ඩේට් එකක් දෙයි. මේ
ඔව්
දැන්
මැඩම්.
ඔයගලන් අර මේ ලබන සතියේ දැන් මට කරන්න තියක්. ඒ කියන්නේ ලබන සතියේට තියෙනවා කරන්න. ඊළඟ සතියේ ඔයගලන් මාක් කරගත්තොත් ඔයගලන්ගේ ගැටලු ඔක්කොම ලබන සතියේ මට දුන්නත් මම ඒක ස්ටඩි කරගෙන ඔයගලන්ට ඊළඟ සතියේ එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න පුළුවන්. නැත්නම් ඔයගලන් අර ඒකත් එක්ක ආවනම් මට ඒක චුට්ටක් ලේසි වෙයි. මට කොහොමද පහසු වෙයිද මන් දන්නේ නැහැ. අඩම ඒ කියන්නේ chat එකටවත් දැම්මොත් හොඳයි. දැන් මේ දක්වා කරපු දේවල් අද මෙච්චරයි. ඒකත් එක ඉවර වෙනවා. මෙහා පැත්තේ අර නිකන් එක්සැම්පල්ස් තමයි තියෙන්නේ. මේ ටික මේ නිකන් දැම්මේ අර රේටිං ස්කේල් බිහේවියර් වලට නිකන් අරන් දැම්මේ මේ වගේ නිකන් වැදගත් කමක් නැහැ. එච්චරටම චෙක් ලිස්ට් දීලා බලන්න පුළුවන් ළමයින්ගේ චෙක් ලිස්ට් එකකින් අපි බලන්නේ multiple methods තියෙනවා කියලා අපි බලනවානේ ළමයින්ගේ observation self report teacher rating sociometry behavioral observation parent interview clinical interview අර වගේ දේ මේ ටික තමයි අපි දැන් මේකේ මොකද්ද social adjustment එකේ බැලුවේ self reporting teacher rating එකයි ඊට පස්සේ sociometry එක දීලා බලන්න පුළුවන් behavioral observation I discuss with you parent interview if someone is behaving misbehaving or in an abnormal way a child then we can discuss with their parents and find out the reason or in some cases සමහර ළමයිට අතීත කෝපය එනවා ළමයිට ගහනවා අර abnormal behavior කරනවා නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ව අපි කවුන්සලර් ගාවට දාන්න ඕනේ ඒකත් හරි ගියේ නැත්නම් ස්කූල් කවුන්සලර් දාන්න ඒකත් නැත්නම් හරි ට්‍රීට්මන්ට් එකට අපි ඒගොල්ලන්ව උදව් කරන්න ඕනේ දෙමාපියන්ට හරි ડોක්ටර් ගාවට හරි කවුන්සලර් ගාවට හරි ගිහිල්ලා සමහර හයිපර් ඇක්ටිව් කියන්නේ වගේ ළමයි පුළුවන් එහෙම සෝ අද පාඩම කොහොමද තේරුණාද කොහොමද මේ දක්වා කරගෙන යන දේවල් අද අපි කරේ තුනයි මොකද්ද කියලා බැලුවා නම් අපි මේ තුනයි අපි කරේ measuring attitude and interest ඒ වගේම measuring intelligence measuring emotional adjustment. That's why we are talking about emotional intelligence, social intelligence, like that we talk. That nowadays we say 3 Qs. What are they? IQ means social intelligence, SQ means social, EQ means emotional intelligence. Those are the 3 sides we have to develop in order to be a better citizen and in order to create better citizen, in order to develop a balanced personality among ourselves, even our children. In our children or students, we need, in order to have a balanced personality, we should develop all these skills. We can develop. Skills mean that can be developed. In rare cases, in some cases, we can't. That's why we say individual difference. But in many cases, many points, we can, what? Develop the skills. We have to try and try again. We have to have more practice like that. So I think you can think about your emotional intelligence. It's very important for us. Even I also think about my emotion. Then sometimes after behaving, I think, why did I behave like this? Why can't I control myself there? Like that. Because on that particular event or situation, we can't control ourselves. That is self-control. We should have self-control, self-awareness. All the topics come under this. If we study in detail, කොහොමද අද තේරුණාද?
ගැටලුවක් නෑ මැඩම්. මේ අර කලින් ලෙක්චර්ස් එකේ පොඩි පොඩි ඩවුට්ස් තිබ්බා ටික.
ඔව්.
ඒ ටික මාක් කරන් තියෙන්නේ මැඩම් අර අන්තිම දවසේ අපි පොඩ්ඩක් සාකච්ඡා කරමු.
හරි. ඒක හරි ගොඩාක් හොඳයි. මේ දක්වා යන එකේ යම් කිසි ප්‍රොබ්ලම් එකක් තියෙනවද? ඒ කියන්නේ තේරුම් ගන්න එකේ?
අද ඒකේ නෑ මැඩම්. අද ගැටලුවක් නෑ මැඩම්. අද ගැටලුවක් නෑ. අර කලින් ලෙක්චර්ස් කීපක වගේ චූටි චූටි එක ලොකු නෙමෙයි.
අර ගණන් පැත්ත වෙන්නේ නැති නේද?
ඔව් මැඩම්.
ඔව් ගණන් පැත්ත චුට්ටක් අමාරුයි තමයි. අපි ඒක එදාට ගණන් පැත්තම අරගෙන අපි දිගට සල්කනේ රයිටින් කියන්නේ එක්සර්සයිස් එක කරමු.
ඕකේ මැඩම්.
ආන්සර්ස් එක බලමු. එතකොට ටිකක් ක්ලියර් වෙයි. ඔයගොල්ලන් කරලා බලන්න. ඒව මාක් කරගෙන ඉන්න. හරිද?
ඕකේ මැඩම්.
ඕකේ. දැන් එහෙනම් අපි ස්ටොප් කරමුද?
Sure madam.
Okay. Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you, madam. Good afternoon.
Good
Thank you.
afternoon.
Yeah.